anxious.
Hey everybody. My name is Lauren Dreyer and I'm an ADHD coach, but at the same time I have 30 plus years of lived experience and I see so many questions on um lots of different things that all have to do with ADHD, and I wanted to take a little bit of time and just kind of go through some of those and provide some feedback, some insight, some here's what I've done, and hoping that it will, help some of you answer some questions or heck, make you feel just not alone. And I'm really excited because here with me, I get to go through this with Emily, and I'm going to let her introduce herself because she can do that a lot better.
Thanks, Lauren. Yes, my name's Emily and Rosenbaum. I am a local therapist here in Kansas City, and I had the privilege of getting to meet Lauren actually through the ADHD conference. And um, while ADHD had not originally been one of my specialties, I've had the privilege of allowing that to become part of my life. And so I'm excited to be here today to talk about these awesome questions. And again, echoing what Lauren said, hoping that we can help you feel seen, validated, and not alone.
Absolutely. Um, so the few, some of the groups that I am a part of, again, I see some of the same questions coming up over and over, and um, all of them are, I feel like, in such desperation, which I can absolutely level with. I've been there. And so I just kind of wanted to, um, you know, Emily and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about how like heavy some of these things feel the other day. And, I have found it very powerful to not joke about it, but, put a spin on it because I gotta laugh at myself sometimes, or else how the heck am I gonna get through? So let's get started. So we'll start with, let's see. I gotta read this because I'm not gonna get it right if I don't. Um, how do you start with feeling capable from a lifetime of feeling incapable? And if I don't feel that in my bones,
Mhm.
seriously. Um, It is a known researched fact that kids with ADHD, hear 20,000 more negative comments
Mhm.
about nothing specific, but 20,000 more negative comments by the time they're, I think it's 12, then
Yeah.
they're, I don't want to say neurotypical because I don't like how that frames it, but they're non-neurodivergent counterparts, right? And feeling not fitting in to the normal boxes as things are like with the structure of things.
Mhm. Or the societal expectations, maybe.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
It is so easy to, just be going through life and being like, I don't know why, but like, this is not working for me. Like, it's working for those other people or kids. And like,
Mhm.
why is it not working for me? And then when we try to like finish the assignment or finish this or, be on time, all the rigorous 8 million things everybody has going, um, you start like it gets conditioned
Right.
into you of like, I'm not capable of doing this. Like, I'm not capable of starting something or finishing something or
Mhm.
being, on time. As
Yep.
all the
Uh-huh.
things.
Oh.
Um, or like, heck, when I was in school, like I'm not capable of doing good on a test because I had awful test anxiety. And I'm like,
Mhm.
why are all these other kids just like, I feel like they're skating through. So I, honestly, how I kind of had to start getting myself feeling capable after a lifetime is so much easier said than done. And when I say this, everybody, please know that um, it has taken me years. And as much as you're just like, cool, it's taking years, um, it's taken a lot of work for me to learn that um, I just have to start and I have to be okay with, um, I have to be okay with failing, with not being good
Mhm.
when I start something, but also trusting that I will figure it out.
So to
And
piggyback off,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
no, 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 you go.
So I wanted two pieces on this. One, I think for me is also accepting that you do it differently.
Oh, yeah.
And so that capability, I was having a conversation with my youngest, who has quite a few different learning differences and hurdles. And we were watching the firefighters doing a drill yesterday, and my little mind started clicking. And I was like, you know what? They learn by doing. You know who else learns by doing? And he was like, I do. And so we started going through all the different ways and different things that, as opposed to from a strengths base, talking about all the ways that maybe something like a profession as a firefighter could allow him to feel successful and be successful when school is not one of those areas for him, where we know he's super smart and all these other things, but no, managing to hold his body steady for all the hours in a day does not go well. Having him have the tenacity and the grit to work through the things that are a struggle, not the thing. Having him not all those other challenges make
Yeah.
school not his happy place. And then acknowledging there are so many other things out there that you can still be an amazing, successful, capable adult. It might just look different.
Yep.
And that was just something where I think
Yeah.
noticing that we do it differently, noticing that we might need to do it differently.
Yep.
That's even how I got into my field. I needed to do things differently. Um,
Yeah.
so I was fortunate enough to be able to figure out how to make that happen. And that doesn't look the same as everyone else. And
Well,
that's
and
okay.
speaking of doing it differently, I always laugh because my husband gives me a hard time because he is very analytical and I am not.
Mhm,
And we have very different definitions of the right way to do something. And our brain, he and I are both ADHD. He is OCD. I am also not that. And so the right way looks very different for both of us. And he's like, "You're making this way too difficult for yourself." I'm like, "Yeah, I probably am." However, I'm like, I'm figuring it out how I need to figure it out.
mhm,
And like I am one of those hands-on get like I got to do the thing and get the thing wrong. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
mhm,
But I it took me a really long time to figure that out about myself, but then also be okay with that's how I figure things out. And like I was always the one who I wanted to know how to do the thing before I knew how to do the thing.
mhm,
And by no means am I a perfectionist. By no means. But that also made me not start things.
a lot of things, I'm sure.
And like it was really crazy. So how do you start feeling capable? Um, First you acknowledge that you've gotten as far as you have and figured things out.
Yep.
Um, and then you take all of those wins, right? No matter how small they are, and say, well, you know, I am capable of learning. I'm
Hmm.
capable of figuring it out. Is it gonna look pretty? Probably not. Am I gonna do this wrong a couple times before I get it right? Yeah, probably. But not expecting that perfection to come right away, I guess.
Hmm.
Um,
So
so
kind of
that,
being okay with failure, like maybe even just taking away the shame of failure
yeah.
and just saying failure is part of the process.
I mean, it's kind of like social media. You see all of the highlight reels, right? You don't see um all the ways in which somebody had to take 18 pictures, 5 videos, do a bunch of editing and everything else to make it look like that fabulous highlight reel. I mean,
Totally.
yeah. It's like the Pinterest fails versus the what it was supposed to look like thing.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's like my life in a nutshell.
Hmm.
Um, but that kind of goes into next question of the tools.
Hmm.
How do you figure out what tools work, and then how do you put them in place to make your day to day in your life go smoother? Because life is still going to come smack us in the face when it wants, right?
Yep.
Um, so I would start by kind of taking inventory on what has worked for me and how I've learned things best previously.
Hmm. I even like to do it sometimes that day to day.
There you
So just
go.
acknowledging what am I what's working well today or what has worked well so far this morning, and then seeing that as a tool. Yesterday was a lot of anxiety and I was also exhausted and I found myself doing. And when I was able to then put myself in my conscious mind of, oh, I am moving and doing because I'm worried that when I sit down, I will crash. So I'm going to ride this momentum and get things done and just know consciously that that's what is happening. So when I crash, when I finally hit pause, I'm okay to just sit down and go to sleep or scroll on my phone or eat the M&Ms or whatever it is.
Eat the
Um,
thing that you don't think you should eat.
because I took inventory. So even in that moment, I was taking inventory of what was I needing and how was this working, and then what did I need to do? And that I, I sometimes think that just in and of itself is a tool, just taking that pause and that mindfulness of
Yes.
the moment.
Yes. And I've been doing that a little bit myself, especially this week of because ADHD is very much known to have the very im like lots of impulse to go with it, but also like a really fragile nervous system
Mm.
and yay, vagus nerve. Um and like I have a side of very high anxiety and I've struggled with that for a long time. And it's been a large frustration of how the heck do I deal with this? And my husband for a while was like, "You're stressing out about stressing out." And at first that comment really upset me because I'm like, "Cool, thanks. You're not helping." And then when I kind of took a step back, I'm like, "Nobody's right. Like I'm stressing
Ah.
out about being stressed out and why I can't figure out how to not be stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then it started with that like day to day or just a day inventory of like I can feel myself tightening up. Like what is going on right now that is causing this?
Mm-hmm.
And like getting to that root. And the more I did that, I'm like, okay. And it was really, I'm coming to find out like my body just like has been conditioned for a stress response when I do a certain thing, like so many of us are. And I'm like, I can handle this. Okay, this is where I need to take a minute and do what I need to do.
Yeah. And noticing that you have evidence, right,
Hmm.
of like past experience that's causing some of that repeated behavior, like the tightening. Oh, when this
Yep.
happens, this is how I respond. But then also saying, wait, I have lived evidence of when it's worked, when I've
Yeah.
been successful.
Yeah. Um, Now I mean, we could talk about that for a long time, but I know somebody's like, I want like something that I can like touch and feel and everything or
Do.
see for tools. And, um, you know, we revolve around phones right now and phones with apps, etc., and technology. Um, and every tool is going to be your best friend according to the people who made it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's going to take probably a little bit of trial and error, but like be looking for those, whether it be time management, whether it be um, project management, whatever kind of thing you're looking for, like be open to how it works for you because what works for me
Right.
is probably not going to work or may not work for the person next to me. Um, like the same things that work for me do not work for my husband.
I was just gonna say, I bet, yep, in your
Yeah,
house, it's like two different sets of tools.
yes, absolutely. And but we have figured out how to meet in the middle with some of them,
Hmm.
but it's okay that they don't work the same, like the things I love don't work for him. That is okay. But the thing is, I know what works for me, and I have figured out through, yes, trial and error, how they need to work for me. And you know, I get a hard time sometimes when, Lord, another reminder went off, another reminder went off. Okay, but you remember to do it, right?
Hmm.
And like that's kind of what I'm talking about with kind of making light of it.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Yeah. Like I have lost the car keys to our car. Good thing we have two. And I still don't know where it is. And we're going on a few months now. And just kind of accepting that we are.
did you look in the freezer, Emily?
I have looked in all the Emilyisms, and it's known. And it becomes the known thing that we get to laugh at.
Yeah.
We've also coined, we've talked about time management. I've coined mommy math, which is I will be in two places at the same time because I will say I can end something and be somewhere at the exact same time. My
I,
time blindness, which I know is one that's really hard for
yeah.
ADHD, naming that, acknowledging it, and then somewhat laughing about it
Yeah.
versus berating myself because man,
Uh-huh.
do I have freak out. So those tools right there is acknowledging that. So does that
Yeah.
mean I need calendar? Do I need things color coded? Do I do
Yep.
some things handwritten? And even the tool is sometimes saying, let me double check, or at least for me, has
Hmm.
been double checking because I might be doing mom math. And I've learned that my verbal mom math is really bad. But if I do slow down and write it down, I sometimes then can actually see, oh, I have to drive. And as
Yeah.
silly as that sound, I don't know if that resonates with anyone else, but like
Yeah.
seeing, like, if I'm here and I need to be there and it's now written down, I can see I have to drive, which means I can't be, it doesn't work. But if I verbalize it, I don't see that. Like I
Yeah,
truly don't.
right. And, it may be a thing for us to overload our plate and think that we can do a little bit more than we can. I
Well,
know nothing about that.
nothing about that.
But yeah, like figuring out the tools that work for you and giving yourself a chance for them to work for you. Um, like it's gonna be like they may need a tweak. You may not use a
Mhm.
certain function. Who cares? Like it is such an individualistic thing, if I can say words today. Um,
Perfectly said.
um, and okay, so that kind of leads into this lovely one of how do you channel your ADHD traits in
Hmm.
positive ways into your everyday life? Oof.
Hmm.
Um, a big one for me was figuring out um, when during the day that I am the best, like creative in my zone, and the
Hmm.
best time of when I'm like, I need to, I need to be moving and doing something or just moving.
Hmm.
Um, Figuring out those things about myself. I'm also an early morning person, and knowing that that is also part of my creative time is big. Um, and then I do not schedule things generally late at night because it's a bad idea and I'm overstimulated and
All done.
yeah.
All done. Yeah.
Lauren
So
goes bye-bye.
yeah. Well, I hear like again, that to me sounds like some amazing amount of that self-awareness of slowing down and accepting, of noticing your patterns. And
Yep.
that then allowed your ADHD self to rock it.
Yeah. Well, and let me say the other thing, like this was a game changer for me and such a little like tiny tweak. Um, Sound and noise sensitivity.
Hmm.
OMG. Um, I cringe with like 18 people talking to me at once. And when I say 18, I mean my husband, my two boys, and my dog barking at me.
Yep.
Feels like 18 though. Um, like that makes me want to go curl up in a ball and like be in a
Yeah.
dark room. Yeah. Um, but like this would be a way that I channel my ADHD traits, right? Because um I love to be creative and I love to create, but like I also have to know that I have to know my limits and kind of like you said, Emily, I have to know when like with scheduling and everything, um I'm a god awful scheduler.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put it out there. Um but I also, where was I going with this? I don't know.
We were talking about all the 18 people and the noise sensitivity and like noticing how you get overstimulated, but I think you were also noticing how that's a strength.
Yes. So being able to um being able to know here's what I need to do when I am overstimulated, as knowing how my ADHD brain works so that I know how
Mhm.
to then regulate that.
Mhm.
Um, and then move on because I used to not, and I was just like a bouncing ball all over the place. But like, I love the fact that I am a non-linear thinker
Yeah.
and that I can get on this kind of stuff and connect weird things to other weird things, and all of a sudden people have light bulb moments. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Um, or how, like, okay, I have like five different visual calendars in my house. One is for the um what special activities my kids have every day. That is right next to the door that we have to walk out because we got to know what shoes they need for a specific
Mhm.
activity. That is
Yep.
only right there because I don't want to have to go walk back up the stairs to look. Um, but like what we've got going on for the day is in a different spot.
Mhm.
All of those things. Um,
Yeah.
there's there's a lot of different ways, and it depends on who you are, depends on what you got going on. Um, and then I would say, so this one kind of tags onto that one and hits me a little bit hard because they were asking, what ways can you take those traits that only those with ADHD understand and appreciate because everybody else sees it as a weakness and shortcomings?
Yep.
Oof.
I can sit and say that I've had the privilege of helping to do a lot of that reframing with my kids. So having two kids with ADHD, I have again been able to captivate my own creative mind and help them then reframe it, whether it be a superpower or understanding it differently. But that also then gets to kind of reaffirm my childhood
Yeah.
oopsies, my childhood ouches, and see it in a different way. And then also allowing me to do that as a grown woman and say, yeah, others are going to see it that way, but I know I don't. And I know that there's other ways to support and find that support and be proud of myself. But
Yeah.
there's some sadness in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, first I would say as much as like it is not 100% possible for someone who doesn't have ADHD to understand. They haven't been in your brain. They will never be able to as much as they want to try. And that is not their fault either. Um, However, I am very vocal about the fact, obviously, that I have ADHD because why not for me?
Hmm.
Um, and I disclose it a lot, and I'll just be like, "Sorry, my ADHD is really kicking my butt today." Um, it is a known thing in our house to where if I'm just like overwhelmed, overstimulated at the end of the day, I look at my house, I'm like, guys, there are a whole lot of squirrels and they're still all over the place. Like I'm
Hmm.
on the struggle bus, guys, and you know, I fully acknowledge that, but um it's also interesting because the more I verbalize to people what I need and how I need it, just as a matter of fact, like do not tell me directions, do not ask me a detail without having me like double check first. Don't ask me to do any of that because again, I need to double check.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a visual person, so if you tell me to go west, I have zero idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you if needed to save my life. Um, like I will verbalize what I need to be successful. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, I have ADHD, so I need you to tell me this. It's more of just like, I'm sorry, it's been a day, my ADHD's kicking my butt. Um, I
Yeah.
totally spaced this. Could you tell me one more time? Um, like just kind of, it doesn't have to be like a formal thing.
Yeah.
And I would say the other thing is if you try to force something on yourself, um, like when I try to force myself to think analytically and be in that space, I can do it a little bit, but it takes like 3 times the amount of energy. Um, when I try to be something, and as we in this world call it masking, when I try to do
Mhm.
that, I am much more awkward than I am on a normal basis.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that idea, though, also of like appreciating is sometimes we see that in great thoughts or those thought pops, as one of my clients calls it, where all of
Ooh,
a
that's a good
sudden
idea.
talking, I know, can't coined by great term though, but it's saying like these thought pops can sometimes be like, oh, I know that's totally off topic, but I just had this idea. And then sometimes I think, Lauren, as you said, like that bubble or that light bulb comes off, that spark, this idea. And that is something that, again, maybe we're just affirming for ourselves that it's our ADHD brain that gets us there, but that's okay. Like that's us doing it. Or if we want others to know that, we get to celebrate that and say, this is how creative and cool my brain is. Like I get these
Yep.
magic thoughts. And when those thoughts pop in and we run with them, it can make things so much more fun. It can make things so much more exciting. Um,
Yep.
and I think that's a really neat part of the ADHD brain, that creativity, the thoughts, the seeing things differently. Um, and how cool is that when we can embrace that in each
Um,
other?
for sure. And I will tell you, like, this seems so too good to be true, but I have like done this is everybody, and I still struggle with being misunderstood. That will probably never change. But the more I seek to understand myself and how I work, because that's a never-ending process,
Yeah,
and then appreciate whatever it is about myself, even if others don't, the more I embrace that and be like, you know what, it's not going away, so whatever. Um, the more others take on that as well, because, I don't know, like it is so hard to explain of when I am okay with it and I am like just like let it
rolling.
go,
Hmm.
like everybody else just kind of says, okay, and it is what it is. So, I mean, people can think of it as a weakness or shortcoming all they want, but you don't have to live up to that.
100%. Absolutely. And that's beautiful modeling, right? You're modeling it, you're doing it, they're learning it, and then they might
Yep.
actually also be embracing it.
Yeah. All right. That is all we have time for today. Hopefully we will be back soon and be able to um, talk about some more questions and give a little bit more insight and experience. But until then, we will see you later.
Thanks.